what will you say to the fans that is saying that this Ridge Racer is not too close to the original Ridge Racer?
I want to say that this is not the first time that the Ridge Racer has reinvented itself. Like, if you look at like Ridge Racer 6 and 7, which is like what most people are maybe familiar with because those are like the 360 and PS3 launch games. A couple of years ago, 5 years ago at this point.
5 years ago, yeah.
Anyway, 6 and 7, and then you compare that to like what all the fans are telling me is the best iteration, which is the Ridge Racer Type 4. Those are very different games. Like Type 4 to me is like we've been playing that a fair bit at the office, and many of the guys like that a great deal. But that's like more like a Gran Turismo 1 type game to me than Ridge Racer 6 or 7. So it's the series has changed quite a lot over the time, and I'm not saying that this is not different. It is different, but they shouldn't be like thinking that there's only been like one type of Ridge Racer. It's not quite like that. But again, this is a spin-off, so we're trying to be very open about that. We are not trying to recreate like 6 or 7. This is a very different direction. And I guess Namco knew what it was doing when they decided to work with us. Like, there was no way we were going to deliver a game that was like some of the previous Ridge Racers. It was going to be different. And from the start, basically what we had was driving plus destruction. So that's what we decided to do here. And we are thinking that we will be delivering a really good, like, destruction-driven arcade racer, and the way that we are trying to stay true to the Ridge Racer rules is trying to make as good an arcade experience as we possibly can. So to us, Ridge Racer is pretty much the essential arcade driving series. So now we're trying to add to that. It's a new direction, but we're still trying to deliver a really good arcade experience.
Related to the previous question, we can say that this Ridge Racer is part flat out and part Ridge Racer.
Yeah, you can say that, yeah. So obviously we have been working on the Flat Out series for a long time. I would like to point out that the Flat Out 3, which comes out today on PC, is not done by us. We have nothing to do with that. I have no idea if it's a good game or not. I hope it is. I hope it is, but I don't know really. Anyway, but the previous Flat Outs, obviously, yeah, there's like some DNA from there because we're using like much of the same technology and so forth. We've been making driving games only for the past 11 years now, and in that sense there's like a lot of Bugbear DNA and also Flat Out DNA, yeah, sure. But like if you look at some of our other games that are not Flat Out, like we did PSP Sega Rally, and maybe if you look at that game you can get like a sense of what like a Bugbear version on Ridge Racer is going to be. Like the Sega Rally was quite different from the home console versions, what we did for the PSP. I think in feel it was much closer to the original Sega Rally arcade machine, which I really love, and than the home console versions. And I think we're trying to do something similar here. We're not staying like true to what is the Ridge Racer you already know, but we're trying to do something that's very faithful to what we feel is the arcade roots of that series, while at the same time like acknowledging that this is the kind of game we do. So we are big on physics, we are big on like our own style of driving, so you will be finding all of that.
About the Ridge Racer franchise, do you plan to go with Ridge Racer Unbounded as a spin-off franchise in parallel with the original Ridge Racer, for example?
Yeah, so there's the Vita version that's coming out like a week before us. That has nothing to do with Unbounded. It's like part of the core franchise. It's made by the Japanese production team. And while we are working with a Japanese production team, that's not the same team as the Ridge Racer team. So we are working like a parallel, but at a different, like from a different angle. And I think that Namco has said as much that they can see like that there could be like an Unbounded 2 at the same time as there's like a Ridge Racer 8 or whatever. So yeah, in that sense it should be considered a spin-off series.
Okay, about the system of environment destruction, how this system affects to the gameplay?
We wanted to really make the destruction a core part of the gameplay. Like in some of our previous games, like there's been like a lot of like environmental destruction, like I think up to tens of thousands of like dynamic objects flying around the track and so forth. But it hasn't been very central to the gameplay. And here we tried to make it like both something that's very spectacular and fun, just because it's fun to drive a car through a wall or whatever, at least we think so. But at the same time we wanted to make it a more core part of the gameplay. So what you have here is that there's like three kinds of destruction. There's the car destruction, so we really develop very like visual, very nice way of like mangling the cars. We like the way that they look when they're all battered up and broken and so forth. It has no effect on the gameplay, so we think that that's like part of the arcade approach. We wanted to separate like the visual spectacle from the gameplay. So even though your car is like a flaming wreck, as long as it's driving, it's driving like just as well as you can possibly make it drive. We're not like trying to punish you for like making your car look nice and mangled. But that said, like once a car is taken out, we do break out all of the stops and do horrible things to them. Like you can crush them to half the size if you drive hard enough into a wall and so forth. The second type of destruction is a collateral. So every time you're playing well or playing badly, you should be like hitting something cool and none of that like smaller stuff. Like generally, if it's smaller than a car, you should be able to drive through it, and it has like absolutely no effect on you or on your speed or whatever. Like it does make a nice dent on your car, but it doesnn't hamper your speed at all. Rather, we actually give you some score for it. There's like a scoring mechanism for the collateral. So if you can keep on hitting some of the small stuff for a period of time, you get like a combo going, and that's like a multiplier to your score. So there's a point to like trying to collect all of the lampposts in a row or whatever. And the third type of destruction is what we're calling the destruction targets. So when you have your power bar charged, the game highlights these special targets for you, and they're generally shortcuts. So you want to take those to like stay ahead of the pack in a race, and also they're worth domination points, which is what you're collecting in your career, and that feeds into your rank. So it's kind of like an experience point system. So there's a reason to take all of these like big spectacular targets, and we try to make it so that all of the destruction targets are like very memorable. So you will be generally you drive through a wall, which you maybe wouldn't imagine doing otherwise, and we are trying to like award you with something cool, like a very nice like flight over the pack that's racing below you and all things like that.
Okay, what about the social aspect of Racer Unbounded?
We are not announcing all of it yet, partly because we're still working on some of that stuff, but we really wanted to make a multiplayer about the city creator. So once we knew that we have the track editor in, we wanted to make sure that we can find a way to bring that to the way that the player are playing the game. So we have a problem with like multiplayer in most especially car games. Like if you look at the player numbers like a month or 2 months after release, like even if it's a very good multiplayer, like for an example Need for Speed Hot Pursuit, there are very few people playing online. So we tried really hard to think what can we do to encourage people to keep playing. And we started from the idea that okay, like every player has their own city that they've made, and we want to make it so that every time you go online you see a city that you haven't played before. So there should always be a reason to go online and play something new that you haven't played before. And we're also trying to encourage you to like keep developing your own city and publish that or republish that online if you've already taken it online. So in that fashion we really hope that the city creator will allow us to like encourage people to play online, even if they're not online at the same time. Like you're still playing through content that other people have made and see how people are doing like like in your city, even if you're not playing at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Okay, with the city creator, we are able to create our own circuits, but what about the details? We can, which level of detail editing we can manage with the city creator?
We were thinking about this for a long while. So what we started with was the idea that okay, we want to make the city creator so simple that you can just take these big blocks. They're basically just city blocks, like 250 meters on a side, and just snap them together, and it just works. There's like it doesn't really take any effort. You can do it easily with the console joypad, and that's actually what we do in the office. We don't need a PC anymore, so that's pretty cool. And then we try to figure out like what sorts of details do people actually want to influence, and what you can do in the city creator is choose your game modes, choose your car classes that you can use in the event, what kind of lighting. We'll have like lots of different choices. In the version that you will be able to try here, you will have like 2 lighting settings, but there will be, I would say, dozens in the final game. And how many laps, and possibly like some kinds of special rules. But so we're trying to make it like more about the gameplay and these like very simple like options that you can toggle instead of like stuff that you would have to like really fine tune in the editor. But that said, we do recognize that there's a subset of people, like I think a very small part of people, but still some people, would really like to like go in and move like that lamppost a little bit to the left and maybe take away that tree or add a jump there and that sort of thing. And that's why we decided to also include the advanced mode. Like again, it's something that we don't think that very many people are going to be all that interested in actually, but we do think that there's going to be a small number of people who are going to be doing very cool things with it, and then everybody else can enjoy that basically. So the advanced mode is for those people, but that's strictly optional. You don't have to get involved in that if you don't want to.
About the sharing content in the city creator, what about looking for the content of other players? It's going to be easy, it's going to be search power, for example.
Yeah, we haven't finalized all the features yet. We are thinking at the minimum you will be able to see like latest cities, most popular cities, most like voted for cities. And additionally, every time you go on, we are going to randomly choose you like a city that you haven't played before. And that, hey, this is something you haven't seen before, like go play. Like if you have like half an hour to kill, you can like go and conquer one more city. And we also do things like time challenges, so that there will be like we are thinking weekly or maybe weekend long challenges where we like chosen or maybe even randomly chosen a track that hey, everybody who's playing the game online, you should try to compete who's going to get the highest score in this city. So that should give you an incentive to keep checking online whether there are like new challenges and something that you haven't played yet. And also in terms of like search, we are not sure how complicated features we have time to how do you say include, but we are hoping you could do things like search by or filter by game mode, car class, that sort of thing.
There is any DLC planned for Racer Unbounded? Because with the city creator, the people can create his own content, so maybe it's not the best option to let the user have the freedom to create new content if you are planning to have some DLC.
There are certainly DLC plans. I think everybody does these days. I don't think I'm at liberty to talk about them, and actually we haven't even finalized them yet. I think it would be logical to release like more building blocks for the players. I think that's what people would be expecting. So if we can add like new environments, like maybe outside of the city, that could be interesting even for us, because we just didn't have time to like include, I don't know, but somewhere outside of the city, but that would be cool. I think people may be expecting new cars if we have like something that really adds to the game. So it's like not just another sports car, but if it's like something new and interesting, like a different kind of gameplay, then that's something that we would be interested in doing. And yeah, something on those lines. And also there's of course going to be like a number of game modes that we just didn't have time to include. I think it would be fun to be able to add those later on, but we can't say for sure yet.